What's up, my people? It's your host, Al Ray, and I would like to say welcome back to another episode of the Al Ray Show. This week, we'll talk about life topics, sport topics, and music. Well, I guess nothing different from the usual, but just make sure you stay tuned, man. First thing I want to get into and touch on was ownership versus being an employee. Like, what is that? What does that look like? Why is that such a big thing right now? Is it the right thing for you? Is it the right thing for me? I think it depends on the person. For me, I'm getting more and more into wanting to do some ownership things, and I think it's not for everybody. Some people are just meant for, let me just work this job for 40, 50 years, and then I will retire and then enjoy my grandkids at the end of it all. And then others like their freedom, like myself. Like, I really enjoy every single week recording these videos, putting them together, and then put them on YouTube and put them on social media. Like, I really get a kick out of that. I really enjoy it. Like, I take this stuff seriously. So ownership versus employee. Why are so many people wanting to be owners nowadays? And as I already said, it's not for everybody. And I think the most important thing is to find out what you're passionate about, because you just don't want to own something just to own it, right? Like, you don't want to be, I own several Burger Kings, but you don't eat Burger King, right? Or I own several McDonald's and you don't eat McDonald's, or you don't want to put in the work to get there. So just think about that. Like, do I really want to put all my time into it? So I'll say, if you do want to put all your time into something, make sure it's something that you love, something that you enjoy, and that way it doesn't really feel like work. It'll feel, sometimes you don't feel like doing it, but at the end of the day, it's something you enjoy. So my advice is pick ownership, but only if you know what you want to do. Don't do it just because you have some extra money to where you can invest in a business or invest in a company. Do something that you love, whether it's fitness, whether it's sports, whether it's like me with social media and YouTubing. Just find that and then just keep putting in that work, and then eventually I'm sure it'll pay off for you in the long run. Just be about the long plan. Don't be about the short plan. A lot of people in what I'm doing want results right away, and it's like the only people that know us is our friends and friend of friends. Like, we're trying to reach a whole different demographic. So it's like, you have to be patient, and that's why I just keep telling myself, be patient, keep putting in the work, keep getting better, so when those people do come around, I'm already seasoned, and it's like, dang, this guy's a pro. Well, I put in 2 years, I put in 5 years, I put in 10, whatever it may be. But just keep putting in the work until you become that professional, and then you can have your ownership in things, and you can do your own thing and don't have to answer to anybody, because I don't think any of us like answering to people. I know I don't. So strive for that. I want everybody out there who's watching this video to strive for, doing your own thing, having ownership in something, outside of a house, outside of a car, whatever it may be. Go after that ownership, man. Don't be an employee, be an ownership if you can. On is something I've been waiting to talk about. How about them Lakers? Back to the NBA Finals for the first time since 2010, when Kobe took them to the NBA Finals. I'm not like a Laker lifer. Some people I know out there, like Jonathan Willis, Jay Willis, Hakeem Washington, like guys like that are like Laker gang. They've been Laker fans forever. Mainly Kobe, so he became like a Laker fan. But I'm a LeBron fan, so wherever LeBron has gone, I've been a fan of that team. I'm like, if the players don't have to be loyal, why am I gonna be loyal to a team, right? So that's just how I think of it. So I've been a Miami fan, been a Cleveland fan, now I'm a Lakers fan, and LeBron has led them back to another NBA Finals. And I think they'll get another championship as well, and be LeBron's fourth. And I want to dead something. I want to end something right now. I keep seeing on Twitter, on the timeline, of people talking about AD carried LeBron. Don't just look at the numbers and get confused. Please don't do that. Like, please. You hear me? Please don't get it confused, right? So The greatness of LeBron allows AD to do what he does. Like, AD was gonna put up numbers regardless. He did it in New Orleans. But having LeBron, who's that leader, who has that high IQ, it allows AD to do his own thing, so he doesn't have much to worry about other than just playing. So I say that to say, look at AD in his first 7 years in New Orleans, right? Went to the playoffs 2 times. First time got swept by the Warriors. I hear you. That was prime Steph Curry. You know, first MVP. Warriors went on to win their first championship. I hear it. So I don't count that against them. Went there a second time in 2015, and he made it to the second round. And then he never made it outside of those 7 years. He made it 2 out of the 7 years in New Orleans. He put up amazing numbers. He had, a guy next to him like DeMarcus Cousins, who had his help. I think that's the year that he went to the second round. So you look at LeBron in his first 7 years, all in Cleveland. He took a Cleveland team that was inferior to the Detroit Pistons in that Eastern Conference Finals, and who was inferior, obviously, to the San Antonio Spurs in that finals appearance. And it's like he was 22 years old, couldn't really shoot. He was just straight athleticism. And obviously, he had the IQ and that ability to pass. But he cannot shoot the ball, so you kind of could just back off LeBron. But he was so athletic, he was going around people, dunking on their heads. And I know you guys seen the highlights where he's dunking on that whole Detroit Pistons team. So I have a story. So I remember this was summer of '07. I don't know what game it was, but I was 10th grade going to the 11th, and Jay Willis, Jonathan Willis, shout out to Jonathan Willis, head coach out at South Puget Sound Community College out in Oregon. But he was one of my coaches at Mandarin High School, and me and him made a bet I made the bet that LeBron would win. Looking back on it, I was crazy because Detroit was so good. But we made a bet. We made like a bet of some sprints. So LeBron ended up doing this thing. That's like one of like the biggest games. That was like a pivotal game in that series, and LeBron ended up going on to take Cleveland to the NBA Finals. LeBron has done it. He did it at 22 years old. AD didn't necessarily do it. He didn't have much help. I'll give him that. But don't compare LeBron and AD. LeBron's greatness allows AD to just play basketball, and LeBron takes on all that other stuff. And don't forget, year 17 in the league, going back to his 10th finals, and in that game, what was that, game 5 versus Denver, he put up, what was it? LeBron put up 38 points, 16 boards, and 10 assists in year 17, and critics still have their excuses. But it is what it is. Lakers back in the finals. LeBron back in the finals. AD first finals appearance versus the Miami Heat. How about the Heat? That's a team that's definitely not the most talented. They beat a Boston Celtics team that was more talented. It's just that grit, that will that Jimmy Butler brought to Miami kind of matched like what Pat Riley is all about, what his other teammates were about, and he's taking them to the NBA Finals. But I'll say that run is over. LeBron and AD gonna do their thing. The role players gonna do their thing, and I'll say Lakers, and I'll give them 2 games. So Lakers in 6. My heart says Lakers in 5. I don't know if y'all seen the LeBron mechanic meme before, but here's my version of it. Tyler Hero, superhero. I don't know about all that, but Lakers in 5. And I want y'all to put in these comments what y'all thought about my riddle. I know that was a knee slapper. I know it's pretty funny. Think what you think. I don't care. But yes, we will see the Lakers versus the Heat in the 2020 NBA Finals. Game 1 is this Wednesday. That's right, this Wednesday, September 30th. September 30th will be game 1 of the 2020 NBA Finals. So make sure you tune in for that. How about them Jacksonville Jaguars? Them boys let me down. You on primetime TV and lay an egg, golden egg, Final score was 31-13 versus the Miami Dolphins. The Jaguars played them at home. It was a primetime Thursday night game. I went there. Even though I'm a little, shaky about the whole COVID situation, but I went to the game with one of my close friends, um, and I thought it was going to be a good game. I just knew that the Jaguars were going to win. I have been saying it all week. Unfortunately, it was a short week, so the Jags were without DJ Chark. They're without Brandon Linder, who I'm pretty sure is the center for the Jaguars. And those are two big pieces. Um, Hence why we only scored 13 points. I think Minshew, I don't know, he had a pretty bad game. Um, I just don't know what it was. Maybe because it was a short week, like you just played on Sunday and then you had to play again on Thursday, which I know that's why those two players had missed that game, and DJ Chark and Brandon Linder, because normally they would have a full week to recover with only a few days, 3 days, I think, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, having to recover. They weren't able to, or at least they didn't trust putting them back on the field. So I completely understand that. The Jaguars were definitely missing that deep ball threat in the game, which we don't have when he's not there. Hopefully, Colin Johnson can develop into that at some point. But I will say the bright spot of that loss is, as I said last week, James Robinson. Mr. Robinson is what I called him. He didn't have a huge game, but it was a bright spot. Um, Mr. Robinson had 46 yards on 11 rushes. He also had 6 catches for 83 yards, and he had a total of 2 touchdowns. I like what I saw from him. I like what I've seen from him in these first 3 games. That's at least we have something to believe in right now. Hopefully, Minshew can get it together. I know these next 2 weeks are pretty favorable matchups. We have the Bengals and then we have the Texans, who are both right now winless. Hopefully we can turn it around. As I said, this Sunday coming up, we have the Cincinnati Bengals. So all is well. Come on, Minshew. Hopefully we have Chark back. Hopefully we have Linder back. All right, folks, let's get into some music. Something that's been on my mind a lot. I was on a podcast this past week, and they mentioned Rick Ross and Drake, like their collabs. And I had been thinking about that 2 or 3 weeks prior, of how, Drake and Ross is like, they don't miss. Like, they're Jordan when it comes to their records. They're 6 for 6. I know they've done way more records than that, but they haven't missed at all. Every single one, from I'm on One to Gold Roses, to Lord Knows, Free Spirit. Free Spirit, that's one of my favorite Drake and Ross collaborations. That takes me back to like my college days, and I can remember like conversations I had with my close friends about that and what they were saying in the song and stuff. So I hold that song near and dear to my heart. But Ross and Drake have never missed. And the reason I was thinking of that is Drake is supposed to have an album coming out sometime soon, Certified Lover Boy. He announced way earlier this year that we would get an album in the summer. The summer is over now. We're going into the fall. So hopefully we can get something. So I would like to know, like, will we see a Drake and Ross collab? Me personally, I would love to see it. I hope we do see it, because they don't miss. They haven't missed ever. So I'm a huge fan of both. So I would love to see that. What do y'all think? Do you think that we will get that collab? I think it'll be perfect. Anything they do is perfect, honestly. But I would like to see it, all in all. So for the second week in a row, we're going to end this thing on some wise words. And my wise words for you are, don't worry about what anybody thinks of you, right? A great Drake line is, you don't have to prove to no one except yourself. You don't have to prove anything to no one except yourself, because you're the only person that has to be happy with the results. So make sure you do what you feel, no matter if someone calls you corny, if they say you're tap dancing, they have slick comments and jokes, like anything like that. Just ignore it, take it in stride. Just realize that there's something wrong with them and there's nothing wrong with you. As long as you feel comfortable with yourself, ride with it. I'm all for it. I like to ride for myself. A very close friend of mine helped me kind of come to this realization, and he doesn't even know it, really. And it's just from me observing and just watching how he moves and how he operates. And it's like, hey man, like people gonna say what they gotta say regardless, whether you're a failure or you're a success. They're gonna have something to say negative. They're gonna have something to say positive. So just roll with it. As long as you approve of it, as long as you feel good, as long as you feel happy. As another one of my close friends, George McLeod says, you'll know when it's right when you feel it on the inside. When you feel at peace about something, you know it's right. So go for it. That's the universe talking to you. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm done here. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. Make sure you tune in each and every Monday. But until next time, I'll see you.
I'm just trying to set the record straight. If this a fight, then I'm a heavyweight. Super light, I'm in the darkest place. Suit and tie me in a coffin, can't criticize me.